Okay, good morning all of you. We are discussing about the classification of element. Already we done yesterday S block, P block and D block. Today we are discussing about the A block elements. A block element means what? Is the elements in which last electron enters into anti-penultimate shell of f orbital. Sir, what is the meaning of anti-penultimate shell? This is important bit. Yesterday we seen already denoted by n-2f orbital. Such elements is calling as a block elements. So where they are present? They are present at the bottom of the periodic table. They are present at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, they are under comes which group and which period we can see. See in the periodic table, okay, actually under D block, what are the starting group is nothing but scandium, yttrium, lanthanum and actinium. So these are under comes third B group elements. Under third B group element, both A block elements is coming is nothing but lanthanoids and actinoids. So F block elements is under comes which group? Third B group elements. Third B group. Okay, under third B we have two periods. One is nothing but sixth period. Just I will tell some information related to sixth period. Under third B, sixth period is nothing but this one. In the sixth period we have lanthanum, okay, lanthanum means atomic number 57. So after lanthanum we have 14 elements. 14 element means from where to where? From cerium to lutetium. So atomic number 58 to 71. So these 14 elements are having similar properties like lanthanum. That's why they are calling as a lanthanoids. These 14 elements is calling as a lanthanoids. Are you understanding or no? Yes. And go for next. Okay, one more important bit here. Whatever lanthanum is there, lanthanum is the D block element only. But after lanthanum coming 14 elements are having similar properties like lanthanum. That's why they are calling as a lanthanoids. From where to where? Cerium to lutetium. And these lanthanoids, I will tell so many points. Lanthanoids is also calling as rare earth metals. These are also calling as rare earth metals. They are very rarely available in the earth crust. And these all will be having metallic character. These all are metals. And these also showing variable oxidation numbers. And most of them are having colors and as well as magnetic character. And also having magnetic character. Under same third B we have seventh period is there. So under third B group we have seventh period is there. In the seventh period, what is the element? Actinium is there. Actinium. Atomic number 89. So after actinium we are getting nearly 14 elements we are getting or having similar properties like actinium. That's why those 14 elements is calling as a actinoids. What are the elements of those 14? From thorium to lawrencium. So from cerium to lutetium and thorium to lawrencium. Atomic number 90 to 103 having similar properties like actinium. That's why they are calling as the actinoids. These all are radioactive elements. These all are radioactive elements. These are also having variable oxidation numbers and colors and magnetic character and everything. So all of you understood or no? And these are calling as also like inner transition elements. Why? Because they are taken from inside of the transition element. That's why we are calling them as inner transition elements. So this is the classification of the elements. Now we are discussing the important concept in the periodic table is nothing but periodic properties. What is the meaning of periodic properties? The properties which will be repeated in a regular interval when we arrange the elements by increasing their atomic numbers. We have so many periodic properties. We have very important concept. So first periodic property is nothing but atomic radius will be there. atomic radius. I will explain to you the definition and related concept. If you take any neutral gaseous atom will be there, it containing so many shells in it. Atomic radius means the distance between the center of the nucleus to last shell is calling as atomic radius. This atomic radius we are expressing in angstrom units and picometers and as well as nanometers. I think you know interconversions. 1 angstrom unit is equals to 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters or nothing but 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. And you know very well 1 picometer is equals to 10 to the power of minus 12 meters. And 1 nanometer is equals to 10 to the power of minus 9 meters. So atomic radius means the distance between the center of the nucleus to last orbit or valence shell is calling as atomic radius. This atomic radius, how it changes in the periods and groups. First of all, I will explain about how it is changing in the groups. So groups means is nothing but vertical columns. Vertical columns means you have to mention from top to bottom, you have to mention. In every group from top to bottom what happening, atomic number is increasing as well as number of shells is also going on increasing. 2 shells, 3 shells like that will be there. Okay, in every group while moving from top to bottom atomic number is increasing, parallelly number of shells increasing, size increasing, distance between the nucleus and last shell is also going on increasing, atomic radius is going on increasing. Okay, now you come to point is nothing but periods. Periods means we have to mention left to right. Yes, while moving from left to the right. So here for example you take second period. Yes, like this will be there. But from left to right in every period atomic number is increasing but number of shells will be remaining same. Even though atomic radius will be decreasing. Why? Yes, for example you take here lithium. Here you can take for example fluorine. Yes, lithium containing +3 nuclear charge. Here fluorine containing +9 nuclear charge. What happening while moving left to right? Nuclear charge increasing. Nuclear charge increasing, force of attraction increasing. Force of attraction increasing, size decreasing means atomic radius will be keep on decreasing. And among the periodic table element a small size or least atomic radius having by hydrogen, this is important, and highest or biggest atomic radius having by this down element is nothing but cesium. These are important bits. And later we are going for types of the atomic radius. We have different types. Under that first one is nothing but metallic radius. Metallic radius or also calling as a crystal radius. Yes, is a very simple this radius we are discussing in case of the metallic solids. Okay, if you take any metallic solid, for example you take a one metal atom M and you take another metal atom will be there like this. Okay, now two metal atoms in the metallic solid held together by metallic bond. Metallic bond is a very strong force of attraction between them. Then half of the internuclear distance, this is calling as a internuclear distance, half of the internuclear distance is calling as a metallic radius. Metallic radius means in case of the metals, the metal atoms are held together by metallic bond or strong force of attraction. Then half of the internuclear distance between these two particles is calling as metallic radius. Now we are going for some other types is nothing but a second category is a covalent radius. Covalent radius. What is the meaning of covalent radius? It's very simple. You take two particles which are held together by a covalent bond. Yes, the two atoms A and B are held together by a covalent bond. Then half of the internuclear distance between them is calling as covalent radius. Means is nothing but from here to here, whatever distance is there, that is calling as covalent radius of A. This is calling as covalent radius of the B. But here some problem is coming. Yes, homo and hetero. Homo atomic molecules and hetero molecules will be there. Homo molecules means what? Yes, you have a two atoms are held together by a covalent bond of identical atoms. then half of the internuclear distance between them only we are calling as a covalent radii of the atoms. But hetero molecule means atoms are made up of more than one type of the atoms, molecules, one atom, and like this. This is the A atom, this is the B atom, held together by a covalent bond. But which one considered as a radius of A and radius of B? So if you take the shared pair, yes, don't take half is as a radius. Why? Because they are different atoms. Then we have to take the position of the shared pair of electron. From that position, yes, this distance how much is there, that is calling as radius of A. From this shared pair position, this nucleus having how much distance, that is calling as radius of B. In case of heteroatomic molecule, the distance between the shared pair of electrons to that particular nucleus is calling as corresponding radius. Are you clear? Now we are going third category is nothing but van der Waals radii. Van der Waals radii. Yes, what is the meaning of van der Waals radii? Especially we are discussing in case of inert gases. So inert gases are involving in any chemical bonding? No, that's why a common or universal force of attraction is there, that only calling as van der Waals force of attraction. For example, you take two molecules, you take like these two molecules will be there. Okay, now I want to find out this van der Waals radii. I want to find out it. Means this is the one molecule, this is the another molecule. They are held together by weak van der Waals force of attraction. Okay, then between them there is no force of attraction. So means there is no chemical bonding between them. Half of the internuclear distance between these two particles is calling as van der Waals radii. Van der Waals radii means what is that one? When the atoms of the two different molecules are held together by weak van der Waals force of attraction, the distance is calling as van der Waals radii. Are you clear? Yes. Now we are going to discuss about the comparison. Anybody? So now which is very close? Metallic, little bit loose covalent, and van der Waals is very loose. That's why where radius will be more. Yes, metallic radius will be too shorter than covalent radii, and highest will be the van der Waals radii is an important competitive bit. So why van der Waals radii is more? Between the atoms there is no chemical bond, just weak force of attraction will be there. Then half of the internuclear distance between them is calling as van der Waals radii. All of you getting or no? Yes. Now we are going to discuss some other things is nothing but ionic radius. Yes, this is a very important ionic radius. What is the meaning of ionic radius? Same radius, the distance from the nucleus to last shell we are discussing in case of ions called as ionic radius. Ions are of two types, cations and anions. First of all, I will compare the size variation of neutral atom and cations. Okay, first of all, neutral atom. For example, you take which one? Magnesium you can take, or you can take sodium. Sodium means atomic number 11, means 11 protons and 11 electrons will be there. So nucleus carrying plus 11 and electron carrying minus 11. Okay, cation means loosed one electron, then we are getting Na plus. What happening, So is there any change in the proton number? No, but electrons will be how many? 10 electrons. That's why nuclear carrying plus 11 charge, but electron carrying minus 10 charge. Where force of attraction will be high. In case of neutral atom, number of protons is equal with the number of electrons. That's why the holding capacity of nucleus, all 11 electron will be somewhat will be there. But come into the cation. In case of cation, number of protons is dominating the electron. That's why what happening? The force of or holding capacity of a nucleus on electron, or force of attraction between nucleus and valence electrons will be more. That's why size decreasing. Size decreasing means radius will be decreasing. That's why we can tell neutral atom is in bigger size, cations are in small size. Now we can come to another thing is nothing but neutral atom and anion, neutral particle and anion comparison. Just you see, neutral means, for example, fluorine. Fluorine means number of protons is equals to number of electrons is equals to 9. Means nuclear carrying plus 9 and electron carrying minus 9. You come to anion, gains 1 electron, becoming like F minus. Is there any change in the proton? No, 9 protons only, but having 10 electrons. Means nucleus carrying how much charge? Plus 9, and electron carrying minus 10. Check it once here. Compare with neutral atom. In case of anion, number of electron is dominating the proton number. That's why the holding capacity of electron by nucleus will be less. Then electrons are going away from the nucleus. Then the size will be going on increasing. Now come to this thing. Neutral atom is in small size, but anion is in bigger size. Can you give the comparison between these three particle size? Yes, we can take cations are in small size than neutral atom. Anions are in big size. So this is the small size, little bit bigger size is a very big size. Cations means which positively charged, neutral means no charge, anions means negatively charged. Can you give the relation between charge and size? Positive charge, small size. Negative charge, bigger size. That's why the size is inversely proportional to charge of the particle. That's why write down size of the particle is inversely proportional to charge of ions. Charge of the ions. Okay, I will tell you some important competitive bits here. Isoelectronic species, already you have idea. The species which are having same number of electrons is calling as isoelectronic species. This is very important competitive bit. For example, I will give you one set. See for example, N minus 3, O minus 2 and F minus and Ne. What happens anybody? Here minus 3 charge, minus 2, minus 1, 0. What I told? Charge is increasing, size decreasing. Yes or no? That's why this is a bigger size, little bit small, and very small. Because charge increasing, size decreasing. And can I tell one more thing? Al plus 3, Mg plus 2 and Na plus. Yes, plus 3, plus 2, plus 1. What happening? Charge decreasing, size increasing. That's why this is the small, this is the big, this is the very big. So what is the point? The size is inversely proportional to charge of the particles. All of you clear? Yes. Now we will go for another periodic property, ionization energy. See carefully. Go through the concept, just very simple thing, practice the theory carefully, you will get it. Another periodic property is ionization energy. So what is the ionization energy and what factors we are getting? We will discuss everything. See carefully. Come to this. Second periodic property is ionization energy. Yes, what is the meaning of ionization energy? Already have idea. We have to take the neutral gaseous atom, how to take neutral gaseous atom, then only the values will be accurate. If you take solid state and liquid state, the things is affected by surrounding particles. Such problem is not in gaseous phase. How to take the neutral gaseous atom? Their nucleus is there carrying positive charge and so many shells will be there, like that every shell filled with electrons. The electron present in the last shell is calling as valence electron. Generally electron carrying negative charge. Between nucleus and electron, what happening? Force of attraction will be there. Now, I want to remove the electron from the valence shell of a neutral gaseous atom. What I should do? I should pull. I should pull means the process requires energy. That only energy required for this process is called as ionization energy. Energy required to remove the electron from the valence shell of a neutral gaseous atom is calling as ionization energy. Just I will show it in the form of equation. A particle in gas phase and converting into M plus in gas phase to remove electron. So here energy is required. That required energy only we are calling as ionization energy. Energy required to remove the electron from the valence shell of a neutral gaseous atom is calling as ionization energy. Anyway, this whole process is energy required. Energy required process is calling as endothermic reaction. This is important bit. Endothermic reaction means enthalpy change for ionization should be positive values. So means whatever ionization energy values we are getting, that values will be positive values. The negative values means exothermic. So anyway, the whole process is taking place by required energy. Thus is endothermic. For all endothermic reaction, energy change or enthalpy change should be positive values. Okay, so to remove the first electron, required energy is calling as first ionization energy. Now I will remove one more electron M plus in gas phase. From that you are removing electron M plus 2 in gas phase plus one more electron. Okay, from the unipositive ion already one electron loosed and one more electron you are removing, means from the unipositive ion you are removing one more electron, then required energy is calling as second ionization energy. Okay, now I will tell you one conclusion. First ionization energy is less than, second ionization energy is less than, third ionization energy, and so on like that, removal of n electron. So now my question, sir, why while removing electrons the ionization energy will be more or required energy will be more? Yes, check it here. In case of first ionization energy, you are removing electron from the neutral atom, means number of protons is equals to number of electron. But second ionization energy means you are removing electron from unipositive ion, means which is dominating, number of protons is more than number of electrons. Okay, here some sufficient force of attraction will be there, but here force of attraction will be dominating. Force of attraction between nucleus and electron is dominating. To pull it electron, required energy will be going on increasing. This is a very important statement. So second ionization energy is more than first ionization energy and going on like this. So among the periodic table says how it is changing in the groups and periods. Groups means you have to maintain top to bottom. Top to bottom means what happening? Size increasing, attraction decreasing, ionization energy will be decreasing. Okay, in periods, yes, in case of periods, what happening? Left to right. Left to right, what happening? Reverse. Size decreasing, force of attraction increasing, to pull it electron, required energy will be going on increasing. Among the periodic table element, highest ionization energy having by a smallest stable element, helium, and the least ionization energy having by a biggest sized particle, cesium. Yes, these are very important competitive bits. And we are going for factors. What factors will influence the ionization energy? The first one is nothing but a nuclear charge. Yes, for example, you have one nucleus with plus 10 charge, you have another nucleus with plus 20 charge, where force of attraction will be high. Yes, more nuclear charge, more force of attraction. More force of attraction to remove electron, required energy will be high. So here less nuclear charge, less force of attraction. This way to remove electron, required energy will be less. This why ionization energy is directly proportional to nuclear charge. And later we are going to some other important things is nothing but penetration power. Penetration power. What is the meaning of penetration power? Intermixing power of orbital with nucleus is calling as penetration power. For example, you have an atom. In that last electron present in the s orbital. You have another atom. In that last electron present in the p orbital. Okay, which is more penetrated with nucleus. Their ionization energy will be high. In case of s orbital is in spherical shape and that too it is having a small region. Very small volume is occupied by this one. That's why what happening, these s orbital electrons is having attraction with nucleus from all sides, that too stronger. That's why if you want to remove electron from here, required energy will be more. That's why penetration power is high and also ionization energy will be also high. Now compare with this one here, it is a particular directional, and that too here more volume is there or more space is there. That's why distance between nucleus and electron gap is more. That's why the intermixing power with the nucleus of that particular orbital will be less. Penetration power is low. Penetration power is more means force of attraction towards nucleus will be less. Then to remove electron outside will be easy. Ionization energy will be low. That's why what we can tell, penetration power high, ionization energy high. Penetration power low, ionization energy is low. What is the penetration power order? Is nothing but S is more than P than D than F. And ionization energy is also following same order. S is more than P than F. Okay, with respect to this one, I will tell you one question. For example, you have beryllium and boron. Okay, actually beryllium, we are expecting boron is the less, but boron is a more, but actually practically boron is the less. Why? If you take here beryllium 4, 1s2, 2s2, but here coming 1s2, 2s2 and 2p1. Now here last electron present in s orbital. Now here last electron present in p orbital, which is strongly attracted with the nucleus, s orbital. That's why what happening? Ionization energy, penetration power of s orbital will be high. Here penetration power of p orbital is low. That's why ionization energy will be high here. But actually we are expecting boron is a small size. That's why more. But practically it is coming wrong. Now we are going with screening or shielding effect. Screening or shielding effect. What is the meaning of this one? Sir, once you take one atom, okay, it containing inertial and valence shell. Valence shell having some electron wherever it is not a matter, in which orbital is not a matter. But inertial containing s orbital. You have another atom and valence electron will be as usual, but inertial containing p orbital, which will give a strong screen or shield. Yes, you take s orbital. S orbital is which shape? Spherical in shape, that too in small size. That's why it having strong attraction with the nucleus. That's why s orbital is almost closing the nuclear charge. Then automatically it is acting like a strong wall between nucleus and valence electron. So s orbital giving a screening effect is high. Then force of attraction is low. Force of attraction will be low. Ionization energy will be also low. Now you take p orbital. The p orbital is in only one direction, that too occupying more space. That's why what happening, the p orbital may not cover the total effect of the nuclear charge. Then p orbital will form like thin screen. Then what happening, yes, p orbital screening effect will be low. Then what happening, force of attraction between nucleus and valence electron will be high. Force of attraction will be high. Ionization energy will be also high. That's why what the relation between screening effect and this one? Screening effect high, ionization energy is low. Screening effect is low, ionization energy will be high, inversely proportional. That's why we can tell screening effect is inversely proportional to ionization energy. The screening effect order is also as like penetration power. S is more screening than P, than D, than F. It forms very strong wall. It form very thin. It's form very thin. As you can take it like this, and it will be very, very thin. So are you understanding or no? So that's why we can tell the screening effect is inversely proportional to ionization energy. Are you clear? Yes, we can go for one more thing, is nothing but electronic configuration. Yes.